atmosphere at Itma 2023 is very good. I think after 4 years, Itma is every 4 years, but I think it was good timing that Itma Barcelona was before COVID and Itma Milan is after COVID. And after 3 years of COVID, I think everybody is very eager to get out and meet back up with people. And so that's the kind of atmosphere that I'm feeling today. Especially at our booth, there are so many people here and friends shaking hands and exchanging old stories and getting to know each other back again. So this, I think everybody is at a very high level of consciousness, and I think everyone has some very good vibes here at ITMA 2023. In terms of our new technology, our concept at ITMA 2023 is SHIMA SEIKI Reborn. And Reborn refers to a return to origin as a flat knitting manufacturer and provider of new technology, as well as a renewal of our passion and commitment to innovation. And what we have here is a new next generation, full lineup of next generation prototype machines, which we're showing as a test bed for new technology. Each of these machines has something new, and we are here to show our customers, present them to the customers and receive feedback from them so that we can make improvements by the time we make their official release sometime later in the future. One of our new machines, it's a prototype, is our next generation whole garment knitting machine. Now, as you may know, SHIMA SEIKI is it's one of our strengths, whole garment, complete garment knitting. And this is a new generation which is based on the first generation whole garment knitting, 4-bed whole garment knitting machine, the SWGX, but it is also reborn, so that's why we call it SWGXR. And it, as I mentioned before, is a test bed for several new technologies. For example, defective needle detection. So when there's for example, a broken needle, then it can automatically detect it so that you can prevent knitting defective products and therefore preventing waste. Also, there is a edge yarn finishing function on one of our machines too, and that allows automatic finishing of edge yarns, which is created through multicolor garment knitting, and that reduces labor and promotes factory automation, and it also saves on materials, so it's also sustainable as well. So as you mentioned, textile production has migrated from east to west, especially after the war, from the Pacific Rim, from Japan to Korea, Taiwan, China and its outlying nations, the Southeast Asia, and also now South Asia, I think is where it is at. But after that, as you say, it will continue on to the Middle East and Africa. However, at the same time, we are seeing improvements in technology and that result in less dependence on labor. So as you know, this migration is happening because of the pursuit of cheaper labor. And while at the same time, we are providing such technologies such as whole garment knitting, which reduces the dependence on labor. So what we are hoping to do is instead of searching for cheaper labor in those other countries, we are trying to bring production back to where the consumer is. So reshoring is one of our objectives through whole garment knitting technology. Because eventually, even if you go to the Middle East and Africa, then where do you go from there? There's nowhere else to go because you've already you've already swept the entire globe for cheaper labor, and now there's no more cheaper labor. And so what we have to do is to kind of equalize, production all over the entire nation, the entire globe, so that each product can be produced and consumed at the same geographic location. In terms of digitalization and sustainability as well as recycling, SHIMA SEIKI has actually been at the forefront of that, whether or not we knew it from the beginning or not, because years and years ago, more than 20 years ago, we suggested the total fashion system, in which we used the computer graphics technology to produce virtual samples, simulations of actual samples, so that we do not have to rely on evaluating products through knitting actual samples. Each time we need to evaluate something with an actual sample, that sample is made, yarn is dyed, a sample is knitted, and material is used. However, each of those samples ends up going to waste. And so we're replacing that with virtual samples. And also with whole garment technology, we have on-demand knitting, so that we can only use the amount of materials that are required to make a single garment. So that's very efficient and also very sustainable. But these proposals that we've made in these areas, they were developed a long time ago, before sustainability and digitalization were even mentioned or even became trendy in the world. So I would consider SHIMA SEIKI to be one of the pioneers in those areas.